So keeping them in mind this evening, and also anybody else that you yourself have in mind. For me, so our dear Venerable Chosang, but maybe others may have some people then. And the way to do it is you can just imagine that they're here with you in your own little gompa or in your own little meditation space in our Zoom room. And then you imagine that they're doing the meditation with us. So feet flat on the floor if you are sitting at your desk. Other than that, if you're in the regular cross-legged position, you can support your knees with a couple of cushions if your hips are tight. Either way, be sitting on top of your sits bones. Shoulders are aligned with the hips, and just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just imagine you're lengthening your spine. Head is very slightly tipped forward. And the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And relax the jaw. If there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Just try not to follow them with the mind. And then just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And one of the things that has brought to my mind after hearing the stories of this submersible vehicle is how incredibly grateful I am to be able to just walk around freely, get into the car, drive to the shops, breathe fresh air in, look at the birds, do all my bits and pieces, get on my computer, communicate with my friends. All of these things that we completely take for granted, but these 5 people are reminding me that my life could change at any moment. I mean, their situation, they put themselves into quite a dangerous situation before they started, but still, they probably never expected that this would happen. So bring to mind gratitude for the life that we have, for the freedom that we have. As we're thinking about watching the mind, the things that are arising in the mind, you can just maybe pop those thoughts onto a little cushion or a little white fluffy cloud and just allow it to float on off. And then just think while you're sitting on the bank of your river, just put yourself there for a moment. Just notice the quality of the water. If it's clear, if it's muddy, if it's got debris in it. And then just know that while you're sitting on that bank, you're free from that river. So bring to mind all the people of your life, all your loved ones, very dear, precious friends we take care of, who take care of us when we need. And then there's those people in our life we find we have a little bit more difficulty with, and then there's us strangers. They can all change place at any time. This is the impermanence of our life. And then there's those people in our lives who, so say you have someone in your life who was a stranger maybe 5 years ago. And then all of a sudden they're a very dear friend. Or someone maybe you thought was a friend, turns out not so much. And sometimes there's a slow dawning about the reality of our relationships, whether we need to be careful, whether we need to be more generous, open-hearted, compassionate. So all these people actually are equal. They're the same as us in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and in having this extraordinary capacity for this enlightened mind. So just think there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind so we can equally create positivity as well, and as instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason for regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it would make sense to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us, we're relying upon his methods, the medicine. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine, if you wish, this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So here we have this image of the tanka that's upstairs. And it's paint, as I keep saying. It's paint with actually gold. The camera didn't really catch that gold. But you can imagine something similar to this as much as you can do. And if visualizing something like that is hard for you, then just pop a white light ball above the crown of your head. You can imagine like even just a light bulb. But it's translucent in quality. It's made of light. So you can also imagine sitting in a cross-legged position on a white lotus and a moon cushion, a beautiful radiant face and lotus-shaped eyes, and sweet red mouth and black hair, arms are crossed at the heart. The left is underneath the right, and the left is holding a bell. This represents wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion. And they're being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment, infinite wisdom, and infinite compassion. So in this image, the arms are sort of separated, but generally they would be crossed. So in order to develop compassion, I'll do the refuge prayer first, sorry. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we're developing compassion. This is just one part of the kind of taking refuge. So in order to be able to do this practice, we really need to develop a little bit of compassion. So there's suggested here to think about other beings, so the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing sort of a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you will end up as suffering for them in the future. Make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower offices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is a purification of speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Ambajasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum te. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And the next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of laser light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you know, as we've been saying, you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch, the light instantly is dispelled. Sorry, the light instantly dispels the darkness. So same here, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, bitterness and grudges and depression, anxiety, insecurities, all of this instantly dispelled. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita. Dira meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates all that kind of the imprints, the energy of the negativities. As we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sudokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sudokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step, and really very crucial step in the purification process. Is this where we make a decision? So nothing's going to happen unless we decide it's going to happen. So we want to make a determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. Or to refrain from harming. Without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. And this aspiration to not harm again is like a beacon that guides our body, speech, and mind in new directions. So, Rinpoche used to say everything exists on the tip of the wish. So we need to want it. So just decide, what you're going to do. Maybe you'll refrain from something for a day or half a day or a month or a year. Or I'd start with a smaller timeline though. And just make a determination, this is what I'm going to do. And you could even set a reminder on your phone to just think about that thing that you're going to try and refrain from. So this determination to not do again is what gives us the strength to change. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, you can place your mind there for a little while. You can think that all phenomena are empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lamsa Rinpoche, swift return. Peerless teacher, an assembly of children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratikya Buddhas, victorious Losang, father and sons, together with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of the infinite lands, please now bestow the virtue and goodness to accomplish this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for mother living beings, you suddenly departed for peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for the fortunate disciples. Universal Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. Geshe Shara, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Thank you so very much. Lots of love to you all, and I will see you, all of you, some of you, tomorrow evening. Thank you so much.
And